children, it's Miss Beddoe here for your story time today. Today I've chosen a little bit of a different story in the way that we're not going to read it through a book. It's an e-book that we're going to read through. I'm going to read through the computer. Parents, if you wanted to read this again to your child, it's a free book and it's called Digiduck's Big Decision. So that's free. If you type that in any search bar, it'll come up with a free PDF. Now the reason I'm reading this today is because we're doing remote learning and you're learning at home, you're spending a lot more time on the internet. So this is about a big decision Digiduck had to make whilst on his computer using the internet. So when I read this story, I want you to think about how you use the internet and how you can be safe when you're using the internet. Are you ready? So this is Digiduck. Let's find out what Digiduck's big decision was. So first page. One warm summery evening, Digiduck was in his room. He'd finished his homework and was enjoying playing on the internet before bedtime. Family Farmyard and his favourite website, he could play games and chat to his friends. Family Farmyard was his favourite website. He could play games and chat to his friends. Great fun! Many animals like to play at the farmyard, including Digiduck's best friend from school. Digiduck's screen went ping and he saw a new message from a friend. How exciting, he thought. He opened it up and giggled. Someone had made a picture of Proud.Pig, looking very silly indeed. That is so funny, chuckled Digiduck. I must show my friends. Before he could send the photo to everyone, Mummy Duck called up the stairs. Bedtime, darling duck. Wash your feathers, hop into bed, and I'll be up as quick as a flap to tuck you in. Digiduck felt sleepy, so didn't argue. He didn't want to be tired for Proud.Pig's party tomorrow. I'll send the photo in the morning, he decided. Soon enough, he was sound asleep. The sky grew dark and the stars were shining brightly. All that could be heard were the shooting snores of Mr. and Mrs. Duck. Whee! A dazzling flash and a loud whee! Soon had Digiduck sitting up in his bed wide awake. Ooh, what has happened here? Digiduck was looking at an old owl, grey from tip to tail. Wise owl, said the owl, peering over his spectacles and holding out for a wing to shake. I know you, exclaimed Digiduck. You're in charge of the farmyard website. Wise Owl smiled and said, I'm here for a very important matter. You're thinking of sending that photo, so I'm going to show you what might happen if you do. There was no time to ask on earth what Wise Owl was talking about. He swiftly scooped Digiduck up and they flew out into the night, off through time to the future. After a bumpy flight, they landed outside Shy Sheep's cottage. Digiduck peered inside and saw his best friends gathered together. Cool Cow had brought a game that they all wanted to play. Why am I not there? Asked Digiduck. We always play together. Unfortunately, you haven't been invited, replied Wise Owl. I wonder why Digiduck has not been invited. After you sent the photo, Shy Sheep found Proud.Pig crying in the playground. She was very sad to see Proud.Pig so upset. especially as the picture had come from you. Digiduck, you're supposed to be friends. Next, they flew across a field and hovered over a barn. It was Proud Dot Pig's party and DJ Dog was playing. It was only a joke, said Digiduck. In surprise, Wise Owl picked him up and off they zoomed. I'm not there either, noticed Digiduck. I'm afraid Proud Dot Pig changed his mind, said Wise Owl. Everyone at school was calling him names after they saw his photo, and DJ Dog was very cross that you had sent it. Oh, mumbled Digiduck. I was looking forward to the party. Wise Owl nodded and off they sped. The last stop looked very familiar. This is my house, cried Digiduck. Through the window, Digiduck saw himself sitting at the table. In front of him was a delicious cake with candles and colourful frosting. However, all the other chairs were empty. It's my birthday. Where are all my friends? Wept Digiduck as tears rolled down his cheeks. Wise Owl knew that Digiduck had seen enough. He wrapped his wings around him and off they whizzed. And it didn't stop there, continued Wise Owl. People laughed at Proud Dot Pig for a long time because his picture was on the internet. Your friends were very worried that you might make fun of them too. On the journey back through time, poor Digiduck was feeling sad and puzzled. He really needed some help. So Wise Owl explained everything. It all started when you sent that photo to your friends. Everyone in school had seen it by lunchtime. Proud Dot Pig was extremely upset. Digiduck suddenly understood that if he sent the photo, it could cause a terrible muddle. He didn't think anyone would mind. I just wanted to make my friends laugh. Sometimes we say and do silly things, but I never mean to be unkind, he whispered. Back in Digiduck's room, Wise Owl drew the covers and comforted him softly. I know that, but sadly your friends didn't. Digiduck, he said gently, you are a lovely duck and a great friend. The internet is a wonderful place to have fun, but you need to behave as you do in the real world. Say kind things to your friends and make sensible choices. And with that, Wise Owl vanished. The sun rose in the sky and Digiduck woke up. The photo, he remembered. He rushed across the room and the message was still there, just as it was last night. Digiduck was over the moon. He skipped and sang, I can do the right thing. But what should we do? Should we tell? Asked Mummy Duck. What should we do? Who should we tell? Asked Mummy Duck. We must tell the family farmyard website, replied Digiduck happily. Mummy Duck removed the picture and they sent it back to Wise Owl. Digiduck smiled. Wise Owl would be so pleased with him. Proud Dot Pig's party after school was terrific and Digiduck enjoyed it more than anybody knew. He brought his camera and took photos that he and his friends all agreed were magnificent. Digiduck knew he had been given a second chance and promised to do his best to look after others on the internet. As he shared his photos with his friends, he cheerfully looked forward to everything that they would enjoy together in the future. I hope you enjoyed the story about Digiduck. What I want you to think about after that story is when you are on the internet, how can you still be a good friend and use the internet safely? None of you should go on any sites that your parents don't know about. So I know you might be going on some phonics games, some number games over this period, but if anything should happen and that you've come off that site, you don't press anything else unless you tell your parents. The same as we might see things or we might chat to our friends over at Modo, and you're all very nice to each other, but remember, everything you say online is the same as if you say it in person. And I know you're all lovely children and know how to be lovely, lovely friends. But just remember that the same applies if we're online or talking on the phone or on the internet. Okay? As I say, the story's online if you want to read through that again. Thank you very much for listening.